when I'm using these different LLMs, for example, ChatGPT is I call it my lazy approach. It's like the shortest prompt, and it like somehow uses my brain and knows what I want, or I'll just upload a picture and it will, summarize it really nicely. But if I try to do that on Claude, it's just a big fail, right? But I feel like sometimes Claude, if I spend a little bit more time with the prompt, the abilities that it has is far superior than ChatGPT. I remember recently I was asking a question about addressable market, and Claude created an algorithm to analyze these different things, and like ChatGPT was very top level, so how are you guys using like really utilizing and entering the prompts? Are you just feeding it data and Excel sheets? Are you taking pictures? Like tell me about the usage, and let's start with Cara.
So my approach to the programs is actually kind of thinking of each LLM as an employee or coworker, right? So
Oh,
each
yeah.
one has its own skill set that it's good at, and you have to explain a task to people in different ways depending on their abilities. So the prompt that I might make for ChatGPT might be something I might give to like an entry level or an assistant in my office who just needs kind of very basic, very high level work, versus something like Claude or DeepSeek. It might be something like my associate who I need a deep dive in, and I give very different instructions to. And so when I'm going for the more detailed, if I'm trying to create something with a very directed result from the prompts, I think about the kind of instructions I would give an employee. What's the scope? What output am I looking for? What approach do I want to have it taken? And that's how I build out those prompts to try to get as close to the end result that I'm looking
I am probably going to steal that and probably name my different LLMs, because that's how I think about it. The thing that's frustrating for me is when I don't delete the or archive the history, it's like biases everything. So I was joking with my team, and I was like, "Look, not everything that I enter is, oh, that's a great idea, ChatGPT. But please challenge me. Like, let's give it a persona to challenge and scrutinize my information." So, Lisa, what do you see? Like, do you have like a similar methodology of using, naming and the different skill sets? How do you go about in approaching which LLM you're going to use?
for. I've not thought of naming, but now that Kara said that, I want to steal that and use a different name for the different sources that are out there. But I will look at what is I'm very intentional and I don't use as many sources as Kara does because I'm I'm still old and I'm still afraid and very worried about my client's privacy. And so I will look at what is it that I absolutely need and what can I put into there with the barest of minimum client sensitive data to get me on my jumping off point. And
Hmm.
so I will weigh what is it that I need to put into the system to get my answer. Um, our office, I was going to say next week is going to be in a sandbox for one of the sources that's out there. I've gone into the sandbox myself, but I'm opening up to the rest of our firm to go into that sandbox to learn the tools to determine on a wide level, is this going to be advance the ball for us so that we can all work a little smarter and not as hard to shave off some time so we're being more effective.
Perplexity is like excellent because it cites everything, and it doesn't like just garble everything together and kind of here's the sources, but good luck on trying to determine which is which. Like I want sticking with you, Lisa. You got a ton of trial experience. What about on the trial side? Have you seen the trial attorneys at the firm go as far as here's everything about the case? ChatGPT, as much as you can anonymize, and keep it confidential. What's my, what's the defense tactics? Is it that advanced? Like, can it craft a narrative? Look, I'm not a trial attorney. I think there's different tactics and approaches to cases. Does it go that far? Does it have that ability?
I'll be honest, I don't believe it's I and I'm the skeptic when it comes to that.
I don't know if it's there yet. I think you can use it to target a question or frame an argument to help you with that piece. Um, and maybe determine during a trial between two different docs you may want to use and which one is going to present better based on the answers that have been given to date during a person's testimony. But I don't know. It AI cannot replace a human's gut and intuition. And so much at trial is your gut instincts, where you're going to go. And I don't think AI is there yet to be able to help when you're in that split decision making process. Can it help you prepare your opening argument or closing statements? Yes. But during the trial, there's too much thinking on it, just on your toes. And that's that's really what your client is paying for, is that knowledge and experience and being able to use your gut and your emotions.